have just arrived in Cong, a beautiful little village here in County Mayo. And although Cong may be small, it carries a surprisingly big history. According to my research, the history of this village stretches back more than 1,000 years, with early religious settlements here dating back to around the 6th century. Centuries later, Cong would become known around the world for something completely different: Hollywood. In 1951, the cast and crew of The Quiet Man came here to film, and the movie was released the following year, starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. The film went on to win 2 Academy Awards, and more than 70 years later, you can still find reminders of it all around the village. But The Quiet Man is only part of Cong's story. So today, we are going to have a drive through the village first, then get out and explore it on foot to see what makes the small place so interesting. My first stop was the Quiet Man Museum. I was hoping to take you inside and have a quick chat with someone there, but filming and interviews weren't permitted during my visit, so I could only capture the outside before continuing my walk through Cong. And just across from the Quiet Man Museum is one of the entrances leading into Cong Abbey. So I decided to head in and have a look. Hello. And here it is, Cong Abbey, one of the village's most important historic landmarks. The ruins we see today date mainly from the 12th and 13th centuries, although the religious history of this site stretches back much further. The abbey was once home to an Augustinian community and became an important religious center in medieval Ireland. It's quite remarkable to think that in a village this small, you can step away from the story of 1950s Hollywood and within moments find yourself surrounded by centuries of history. Hello. Hi. Just a short distance from the abbey is another fascinating part of Cong's monastic history, the monks' fishing house. Built over the River Cong, this small stone structure is believed to have been used by the monks for fishing. According to local tradition, a line connected the fishing house to the monastery, so when a fish was caught, a bell would ring to let the monks know. It's such a small building, but it gives us an interesting glimpse into what everyday life may have been like for the monks who lived here centuries ago. From the river, I made my way back through the village to see what else I could find. Hello. As I continued walking through the village, I came across the Cong Ants of Fame. At the center is ants around the world, carved from a single local tree in tribute to frontline workers and those who lost their lives during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here, you will find bronze ant prints honoring well known personalities who have made a contribution to Irish culture and helped promote Ireland around the world. It's quite a powerful piece and certainly one of the more unusual things you will come across while walking through Kong. And just beside the ends of fame is another familiar sight, especially for fans of the Quiet Man. This statue of John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara celebrates their characters, Sean Thornton and Mary Kate Danaher, and the film's lasting connection with Kong. More than 70 years after The Quiet Man was released, its presence can still be felt through this little village. Here is Pat Cohen's Bar, another famous Quiet Man location whose exterior appeared in the film. And here is Kong's old courthouse, which has since taken on a new role as the local tourist information office. Now, here is something really interesting about Kong. Although the village itself is in County Mayo, it sits right on the border with County Galway. And what makes this spot particularly interesting is that you can actually see the exact line marking where one county ends and the other begins. Right here on the bridge, this line marks the boundary between County Mayo and County Galway. So, standing on this side, I'm in County Mayo. But the moment I step across the line, I've left Mayo and I'm now standing in County Galway. There's no sign of a major border crossing. Of course, it's simply a county boundary, but I think it's fascinating that you can literally stand with one foot in Mayo and the other in Galway. And just like that, in a single step, we have traveled from one Irish county to another. Continuing through the village, I came across another reminder of the Quiet Man. This little cottage is known as the Dying Man House and is one of the locations associated with the film. Even today, it's clearly marked for visitors following the Quiet Man trail through Kong. When I arrived in Cong, I already knew about its connection to the quiet man. But walking through the village showed me that there is much more to this place than one famous film. From a medieval abbey and the monk's fishing house to old village buildings, the River Cong and reminders of the Hollywood history around almost every corner, this really is a small village carrying a big history. And that's one of the things I love about exploring places like this. Sometimes you don't know what you are going to find until you get out of the car and start walking. And that's what Earth on the Move is all about. The journeys we take, the places we stop, and the stories we discover along the way. Thanks for coming along with me here in Cong. If you enjoyed the journey, subscribe to Earth on the Move, and I'll see you wherever the road takes us next.